If you don't set your own boundaries, someone else will. And unless it's your mom, those boundaries will favor them. Welcome to day 4. We're taking 28 days, 28 small steps to help you and me build a side hustle that's meaningful, impactful, profitable. Today's focus is on creating a lean, one-page business plan, a simple, effective tool that should help you clarify your vision, organize your priorities, and guide your next steps. If day 1 was about your why, your purpose, and day 2 was narrowing down the what, the problem you're going to solve first, day 3 was understanding the competitive landscape, then day 4, today, is about pulling all of that together into a concrete plan. Days 1 through 3 should have given you rough answers to what problem your business is solving, who it's solving it for, and how you plan to make money from the idea. Don't panic if those answers are still a draft in your head, because the process of writing a one-page business plan will help you flush all of that out. This might be a little obvious, but writing a business plan is as much for you as it is for whoever you're going to share it with. The writing process should help you define the essentials of your business in a way that's actionable, accessible, easy to share. And that share part is super important, because over the next month, you'll need collaborators and potentially investors, and they need to get on the same page as you. Just keep telling yourself, if you don't set your own boundaries, someone else will. And unless it's your mom, those boundaries will favor them. Depending on the kind of mom you have, it might also be true. But anyway, so not mine. I love my mom. So today's questions are where purpose meets execution. By getting you to write a little, or to get the AI prompt to write for you, you're better positioned to spot gaps and to sharpen your priorities. Super skill number 2. And don't stress it. Your plan should be a living document. It's not about perfection, but direction. It's just a tool you can actually use, and you'll adapt it as you learn more. Okay, the questions. 1, what is the primary goal of this business plan? Is it to attract investors, align internal teams, or secure partnerships? And 2, what are the specific metrics or milestones tied to your idea that should be highlighted, like market size, potential revenue streams, et cetera, et cetera. And Senior Quizzy, or favorite blue friend, and Ninja Azul, who on day 4 of this series already has a larger fan club than I do, has a third bonus question. Should we include financial projections or focus solely on vision and strategy? Gracias, senor, wherever you are. Asking these 3 questions forces you to prioritize. Super skill number 2, to prioritize what matters to you most, so you don't get distracted by details that don't drive results. Why are these questions important? Because the answers turn your abstract ideas into actionable clarity. And why is that important? Because without a clear, concise plan, even the best side hustles risk becoming a chaotic mess of disconnected goals and well-intentioned but half-baked strategies. A one-page business plan forces you to focus, one of our 3 magic skills. It helps you simplify complexity. It helps you align your vision and execution. And it creates a roadmap that's easy to share with collaborators or investors. It's also a confidence builder for you and for others. It distills your hustle into measurable goals, milestones, strategies. It reframes who you are from dreamer to doer. As cheesy as it sounds, a business plan isn't just paperwork. It's credibility, it's momentum, it's motivation, your roadmap for sustainable growth. Even a rough plan is better than none. As I tell myself every day, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing poorly. Okay, enough with the preachy. If you're motivated by living, breathing examples, Tristan Walker, this guy, founder of Bevel, he started with a simple business plan: solve greaser bumps for Black men, a problem ignored by big brands. He wrote his plan on a single page, focused on one audience, one product, one promise. That clarity helped him raise millions, helped him build a cult following, and eventually it helped him sell his company to Procter & Gamble. Sometimes a one-page plan is all you need to turn a personal pain point into a movement. The right plan doesn't just attract resources, it attracts the right people to your mission. Okay, a good one-page business plan is all about simplicity. It focuses on the essentials without overwhelming you with unnecessary detail. Everything is easier with a template. So we're going to use the following frameworks to organize your answers into a simple document. Vision, what problem are you solving for and who are you solving for it? Offering, what product or service are you providing? Revenue model, how will you make money? Target market, who are your ideal customers? Marketing strategy, how will you reach those customers? And 6, what milestones do you want to achieve in the next 28 days? One last bit of the preachy. One of my favorite sayings, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing poorly. I know I said that before, but nothing we do for a hustle is about perfection. It's about progress. This one pager that you're writing can and should evolve as your hustle grows and as you learn more about what works best for your audience. And my point, this is worth doing. Do it, even if you're doing it poorly for now. Progress beats perfection every day. The act of writing your plan moves you forward. It's the act, not the script. Okay, take a moment and try to answer the day 4 questions for your hustle without AI. And before you listen to the next section, 28-day Ivy-League MBA. I personally think it's useful to try to answer questions without AI first, but if you'd rather do that, the AI teaching assistant is just waiting there at superserious.com. It'll also drop when we do today's case study segment in a couple hours. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out Lunch Break Millionaire Day 0 or go to superserious.com where I'm doing all the transcripts. The AI prompts are there too. That's it. Hustle smarter. Don't stop me now. Forget those 40-page business plans nobody reads. This is a single sheet, 9 boxes, 1 page. And if you do it right, suddenly your whole side hustle is going to make a ton of sense. Day 4, part 2 of Lunch Break Millionaire, where we turn whatever you're eating for lunch into an Ivy-League MBA degree. Super Thursday, that's what I had for lunch. Today's soup recommendation, which is my absolute favorite Korean soft tofu stew. It drops the F-bomb of heat, kind of like the MBA skill we're going to pick up today. Something called a business model canvas. And if you do it right, you get to see how all the pieces fit together and where you're missing something important before you waste the time you have or the money you have. Super skill number 1, focus. Super skill number 2, prioritization. The canvas is a tool that lets you step back and say, okay, here's how I'm going to make money. Here's who I'm serving. Here's how I'm going to reach them. Here's what it's all going to cost me. It's a plan for how your hustle survives the wild. So let's break it down. Canvas has 9 building blocks. You've got your customer segments. Who are you serving? The real people or businesses who need what you're building. Then your value proposition. What's the thing you're offering that makes their life better? Channels. How do you actually get your product or service to them? Customer relationships. How do you keep them coming back? Revenue streams. How does that money come in? Key resources. What do you need to make this all happen? Key activities. What do you actually have to do day in and day out? Key partners. Who do you need to team up with because you can't do anything all alone? And finally, cost structure. What's it going to cost you to keep the lights on? If that sounds like a lot, don't stress. The beauty of the canvas is you can sketch it out on a napkin. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You just need to get your ideas out of your head and onto a page so you can see what's missing, what's strong, what needs work. It's a living document, not a homework assignment you turn in once and forget about. You'll keep coming back to it and tweaking it as your hustle grows and you learn more. Now, let's connect this to today's question. When you're thinking about the primary goal of your business plan, whether it's to attract investors, align to your team, or just get your own head straight, the canvas helps you get there. It forces you to prioritize, to focus on the essentials, and to see how everything connects. When you're thinking about the specific metrics or milestones you want to highlight, you can use the canvas to map out what matters most, how big your market is, what your revenue streams could look like, what resources you'll need, what it's all going to cost. And if you're stuck on whether to include financial projections or just focus on vision and strategy, the canvas helps you do both. Take a sec and pull up a blank sheet of paper, draw 9 boxes. Napkin might be enough. Draw 9 boxes, label them: customer segments, value propositions, channels, customer relationships, revenue streams, key resources, key activities, key partners, cost, or just look at I'll try to put it in the prompt description. Start filling everything in. Don't worry about getting it perfect. Just get something down for each box. Who are you serving? What are you offering? How will you reach them? How will you make money? What do you need? What do you have to do? Who can help you? What will it cost? If you get stuck, use the AI prompt in the post description later today, or ask a friend for feedback. Keep telling yourself the goal isn't to have a perfect plan. There is no such thing. It's to have a clear, simple map you can actually use. The canvas is your business at a glance. You can pin it to your wall, make it your desktop background, share it with a potential partner, or just use it to keep yourself honest about what really matters. The more you use it, the more you'll see where your hustle is strong and where you need to double down. So take a sec, sketch it out, and see your hustle for what it really is, or what it could be. That's how you hustle smarter. Don't stop me now. I don't care how smart you are. At some point in life, in the middle of a test that's kicking your ass, we've all glanced over at the test of the person next to us. This is day 4, part 3 of Lunch Break Millionaire. This is the segment where I answer the daily questions from part 1 using the MBA skills we learned in part 2 and showing my work here in part 3, sharing how I'm building my hustle from scratch. No filters, just the real journey. Writing a 1-page business plan is hard. It might take your ass, but not today. Let me share my answers. I'm going to show you 3 separate versions for 3 separate audiences: investors, your internal team, and potential partners, collaboration opportunities. And trying to read it on your phone will make your eyes bleed. So I'll also link to the docs in the post description. I'll be on super serious. I'm going to throw each one up and explain them a bit, but it's important to understand that each version is intentionally different. Investors get numbers and market size. They need proof your hustle can scale. Internal teams get tasks and deadlines. They need clarity on what to do next. And partners get collaboration perks. They need reasons to trust you as an ally, not a competitor. So each plan speaks to its audience's priorities: profit, execution, partnership. All right, let me throw up the first one, the 1-pager for investors. Of the 3 versions, this is the fancy one. It focuses on market potential and financial returns because investors care about scalability and profitability. It emphasizes my disruptive potential in the $285 billion ad industry, and it positions it as a trust-driven alternative to ads. Financial projections, even estimated ones, show growth potential, while metrics like CAC, cost to acquire a customer, and LTV, lifetime value of a customer, prove the hustle's sustainability. For example, if it cost me $50 on advertising to get a creator, but they pay $360 a year, that's a great return. It's not what I'm going to charge, but I'm just saying it's a great return. I hate using jargon, by the way, without an explanation. So 2 quick definitions. CAC, customer acquisition cost. Imagine you're selling like lemonade. If you spend $10 on signs to attract 20 customers, your CAC is 50 cents per customer. For my hustle, it's the cost of ads and outreach to get 1 user. Lifetime value, or LTV, if each lemonade customer spends $3 total over the summer, your LTV is $3. For my hustle, it's how much a creator or a business pays over time using the product. A good business has LTV 3 to 5x higher than their CAC. Before we move on, you haven't seen the other 2 versions yet, but this one is different because unlike the internal and partner versions, this one avoids technical jargon about product features. It tries to answer the question, how big can this get and how fast? Okay? So let me throw up the second one, the 1-pager for internal teams. This version is a playbook, not a pitch. It breaks down what needs to be built, like MVP features, how they need to be built, like KPIs around 90% content matching accuracy, and who does what, engineering versus marketing. If you do it right, this version is actionable with clear milestones, like 5 pilot clients by Q4 to keep your team aligned. How is it different from the one for investors we just saw like 2 seconds ago, or the one for partners we're about to see next? Well, this one has no financial jargon, just practical steps. Investors care about revenue, teams care about execution. So this one-pager skips market stats and focuses on shipping code, hitting metrics, avoiding burnout, that kind of thing. Okay, let me throw up the last one, the one-pager for partners. We talked yesterday about competitive analysis, but I don't yet see anyone in the market as a direct competitor. I see them as partners, one and all. And if I'm going to reach out to them, and I am, they'll want to know what's in it for them. One pager highlights collaboration benefits, revenue sharing, co-branding, exclusive API access. Metrics like 10 plus platform integrations by 2026 show my commitment to partnerships. This last one's different from the first two because it isn't about money or tasks. It's about shared wins. Unlike the investors or team plans, this one avoids technical or financial details and instead focuses on mutual growth opportunities, making it mutually beneficial to you and your partner. Key takeaways from this day 4 exercise. 1, every audience deserves their own version of whatever it is you're doing. Crafting 3 distinct versions of a one-pager really drove that home for me. That success hinges on speaking directly to the priorities of your audience, investors, teams, partners, each with its own lens of value. Second key takeaway, progress beats perfection every time. Your whole life is a draft. Living it matters more than getting it perfect. 3, numbers tell stories. Numbers inspire. So understand metrics like CAC and LTV. 4, that third plan really drove home the idea that connection leads to collaboration, leads to opportunity. Everyone, especially competitors, are potential partners. 5, a plan is so much more than a document. It's confidence in you and in your hustle.